about Kashmir. Now you should notice that the suffix of the word Kashmir is...
This is Francisco Perez with another educational lesson. This is for educational purposes only.
Amara. It comes from the Hebrew Shemitic. You should also notice that the word Shema is in the word Kashmir. So the word would be Kashimara. Okay? So now the word Pashi is pronounced Pashimina. Right? The first part is Pashim or Pashem. So when literally translated correctly, PashyBachAshan, the Pacific Ocean. Actually, this...
Alright, so this is not about Israelites redemption. I'm just going to use a few minutes of her video which outlines the book that she's releasing, that she had released. Please support her, get the book. It'll give you some insight into your history and your language. Alright. So in this part of her video, this is about the 40-minute mark. Hold on, let me close this. At about the 40-minute mark, 43 to be exact, or 40-minute actually. It talks about the Pacific Ocean, on how it was called PashyBachAshan, and then when the Europeans came, they said, "Oh, let's call it the Pacific Ocean," not understanding how important that was in following the Hebrew language of the original name of the place, PashyBachAshan, and Ashana means Shem. So it's just, and that are to the back of the hairy Pashi goat. So the goat is the Pashi goat.
Not designate a body of water. It actually deals with lands, physical properties. That's actually what it means. So when they took our word and translated it to their language, English, and they called this the Pacific Ocean, I don't know if they did it deliberately to try and mislead us, or if they actually had no idea what the word PashyBachAshan really meant. Because there's one fact about the word PashyBachAshan. There's a root word in there. And it is Sheba. The root word in there is Sheba, and it means property, which includes land holdings. It also means restoration after captivity. And you can see it for yourself right here. Because it doesn't deal with a body of water. You see, in our language, bodies of water are always referred to by using the expression Amara. So in order for this to designate a body of water, it would have to be Amara PashyBachAshan. Another way to say it is Amara PashyBachAshan.
So what she's trying to say is it even though it sounds like Pacific Ocean, and they named the ocean after it, meaning Pacific Ocean, it doesn't mean ocean. It means the land of Shem, or the waters bordering the land, or the land bordering the waters. The land of Shem is pretty much what it's talking about. The hairy goat land of Shem. If it meant waters, what she's trying to say, it would have another prefix hinting that it means water, but it's plural. It doesn't have the additional word to promote the water meaning.
Because Pashamina and Kashmir mean the same thing. Kashmir, from the Pashi goat. Pashmina, from the Kashmir goat. Perhaps the translators did not realize that when our people called it PashyBachAshan, they're referring to the properties and land boundaries of Ashana.
There we go. Properties and land boundaries. That's a better word to use. Land boundaries.
Descendants of Shem. And you can see it clearly when you look at a map. You can actually see the goat itself. Because interesting enough, when the Most High divvied out the lands, they formed the shape of certain animals and even people. Faces. See, our land holdings go all the way to the Pashi goat, or the Kashi goat, Kashmir. So, once again, PashyBachAshan designates the territorial boundaries of Ashan, which is the hairy he-goat. Yes, that's what the word Pacific Ocean means in ancient Hebrew. Do you see what I mean?
So, Pacific Ocean in Hebrew means the hairy he-goat. Alright, so let's just establish that America is the land of Shem. Whatever map she outlines, not including South America, it doesn't matter to me. Because not one person has all the drop. Not one person can tell you every single thing about history. But I know that I'm going to show you a video about culture in South America that's going to be pretty culturally linked to your culture and your area and your history. She may believe that it just happened in Central and North, but you must believe its relevance that South America was also included. You were in South America. You have many kingdoms in South America. The first civilizations are in South America. Do you get that, people? The first civilizations. Check this out. Magnificent beauty. Now look at this and think about your people, think about your history, think about megaliths left in your area, think about the people that supposedly did it, or they're either missing or there's another people group there that doesn't know shit and doesn't practice the same thing, doesn't even look like the people. Look at this. I mean, I can bring this up. Look at this. This is Hawaii. And look at this. Same shit, got the pillars, same kind of construction. Look at the pillars. Look at the pillar, get one over here. Look at the half circles. Now watch this. Fiddle ever low. I see how the construction is. Right? It doesn't look like much because you've seen it from that view. But watch this. Look how similar these things are. Look at the construction. And you gotta realize they destroyed all of this. They destroyed it all. Okay? This is about Caral in Peru and the 5,000-year-old ceremonial city of sacred flame. Now you gotta see, this is a 5,000-year-old ceremonial city of the sacred flame. Now, when you think of sacred flame, what do you think of, people? Because I know when I think of the sacred flame, I think of the eternal flame, right? The flame that the Hebrew people had to have lit forever, always stayed lit. The sanctuary lamp, right? Isn't it custom that the Hebrews always have a lamp? Look, Exodus. In Exodus 27:20 and 21. Let's bring that up. Let's bring up Exodus. You guys got a Bible, bust it out. Exodus 27 and 20. Let's look it up. And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring thee pure olive oil beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always. Lamp to burn always. It's right here. Huh? And thou shalt command the children of Israel that they bring pure olive oil beaten for the light, to cause the lamp to burn always in the tabernacle of the congregation without the veil, which is before the testimony. Aaron and his sons shall order it from evening to morning before the Lord. It shall be a statute forever until the generations on the behalf of the children of Israel. Right? Right? So what are we watching when we watch these ceremonial pyramids, bigger than the pyramids in Giza, older than the pyramids in Giza, with ceremonial sacred flames? Yet you say our culture is fake. It's not fake, people. It's just they lied to you. Look at what they're doing. Trying to stop my hustle. You can't stop it. Yeah, you can't attack my computer all you want. See how they do me? Wrong, bro. Wrong. Yo, wrong. Yo, wrong. Let the show go on. This is from National Geographic.
Hidden Pyramids of Peru. Hello and welcome to National Geographic Channel Presents. I'm Jay Shadler. Archaeologists refer to it as crossing the Great Divide, when humans went from living in small family units to inhabiting cities of thousands. The first human civilizations emerged 6,000 years ago. But why? Many theories have been proposed, but one of the most well-established could now be shattered as a researcher stumbles upon a lost city that may be the fabled missing link of archaeology, the Hidden Pyramids of Peru.
Civilization. Humanity's crowning
They gotta
achievement.
watch this shit. They put some slick
Yet
shit
its
on.
origins remain shrouded in mystery. To discover how and why civilization took root has become one archaeologist's greatest dream.
It is a very strange place. This place is somewhere between the seat of the gods and the home of man.
Seat of the gods
What
and the home
inspired
of
the
man.
world's first city
And the
builders?
navel of the world.
Were they driven by desire to create and nurture?
Peru.
Or were their motives far darker? Answers to such questions do not come easily. But they may lie in the most unlikely and fantastic of places. The Hidden Pyramids of Peru.
The hidden pyramids of Peru. They hid no more.
Peru's desert coast, trapped between the Andes Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. For years, stories and rumors swirled about what lay hidden within the Supe Valley. But this barren plain remained unexplored, ignored as an unpromising archaeological site. Until 1994, when Ruth Shoddy, a professor at the University of San Marcos in Lima, set off alone into this wilderness. She came upon an enormous hill rising from the desert floor.
When I first arrived in the valley in 1994, I was overwhelmed. This place is somewhere between the seat of the gods and the home of man. It is a very strange place.
As Ruth Shoddy looked closer, something hidden beneath the rubble and stones began to take shape. She could make out the outline of a pyramid. Scanning the valley, she spotted another. Then many more. Ruth Shoddy had discovered a lost city, a city known today as Caral. With only limited resources and against long odds, Ruth Shoddy dedicated the coming years to digging at Caral. And what she has unearthed may have answered one of the most profound questions left to mankind. What triggered the rise of human civilization? Today, we view modern cities as the pinnacle of civilization. Millions live and work together, all governed by laws and rules. Most have specific tasks with a common goal: building a society. And even in a democracy, hierarchy determines who rules and who is the ruled. But how civilization first took root remains a great puzzle.
Surely one of the most important questions addressed by archaeologists is also its biggest. What is the origin of civilization? This has been a central theme, a guiding post for virtually all archaeologists working on every continent of the world.
For more than 100,000 years, humanity roamed the world in small family groupings, or settled in tiny villages. Then, more than 5,000 years ago, people started to build cities. In 6 places around the world, first in Egypt, Mesopotamia, the Indus Valley, and China, and later in the New World, Central America and Peru. It was here that the first tools of civilization were developed.
It was here that the first tools of civilization was developed. It was here. It was here, I swear. And then watch what they do. They pan out to Egypt.
This has been a
But how civilization first...
Stop acting like that, girl.
And many more. Ruth Shoddy had discovered a lost city, a city known today as Caral. With only limited resources and against long odds, Ruth Shoddy dedicated the coming years to digging at Caral. And what she has unearthed may have answered one of the most profound questions left to mankind. What triggered the rise of human civilization? Today, we view modern cities as the pinnacle of civilization. Millions live and work together, all governed by laws and rules. Most have specific tasks with a common goal: building a society. And even in a democracy, hierarchy determines who rules and who is the ruled. But how civilization first took root remains a great puzzle.
Surely one of the most important questions addressed by archaeologists is also its biggest. What is the origin of civilization? This has been a central theme, a guiding post for virtually all archaeologists working on every continent of the world.
For more than 100,000 years, humanity roamed the world in small family groupings, or settled in tiny villages. Then, more than 5,000 years ago, people started to build cities. In 6 places around the world. First in Egypt, Mesopotamia,
so I was trying to get back
the
to
Indus Valley, and China.
They're showing
And
you
later in
places
the
of
New
civilization.
World, Central
They
America,
say later,
Peru.
Central
It was
America,
here that
Peru.
the first tools of civilization were
But
developed.
then they turn around and say it was here that the first tools of civilization can be found. So what are they trying to say? Are they trying to say it's the oldest civilization, or and then they pan to Africa?
As civilizations flourished, math, calendars,
And then boom, right back to Central.
writing,
Then back to Africa. Then boom
pottery,
to Central
and
America.
metallurgy
Boom, back to
were
Africa.
mastered. And
Boom.
above all else,
You know what I mean?
huge
They're trying to
monumental
confuse
structures.
you. Yet the issue is Peru and the
This was
pyramids
the
there
ultimate sign of
and the
people coming
eternal
together
flame
under rulers for a
and the
common
Hebrew
goal.
customs and the
Monuments
land of
marked the
Shem.
arrival of civilization.
Don't get it twisted.
You can't build a huge structure like that on the basis of consensus. You have to have leaders and followers. You have to have specialists. You have to have people who are in charge, people who can tell individual groups, all right, today you will be doing this. This group, you're going to be doing something different.
After more than a century of sifting through the past, archaeologists were no closer to answering the most fundamental of questions. How and why did civilization take shape? There were, of course, plenty of theories. Many believe it was the darker side of human nature, warfare. Armed conflict forced groups of villages to band together, to marshal their forces, to organize in new ways. And these leaders became pharaohs and kings. They would assign tasks and organize lives. Complex societies may have been born at the point of a spear.
Hidden Pyramids of Peru on National Geographic Presents.
For 20 years, Jonathan Haas and Winifred Creamer have tested the warfare theory around the world. A husband and wife team of archaeologists, they've found the telltale signs of battle in every early civilization.
As you look at culture, as it becomes more complex, warfare seems to be everywhere. That these societies seem to be always at war, or war is depicted in the art, war is depicted in the architecture. You see a warrior class, or you see standing armies, you see generals. When you get writing, writing is about warfare.
Competing theories proposed a more peaceful genesis. Perhaps irrigation, agriculture, and trade spurred the development of cities and civilization. But all of these are only theories. In search of proof, archaeologists have scoured the planet. What they sought was a missing link, a mother city, one that gave birth to a civilization.
So if we could find one of these absolutely earliest stages of civilization, it would make an enormous contribution to our understanding of the process of the development of civilization.
But every attempt to find a mother city hit the same obstacle. Civilizations constantly build upon themselves. This means the earliest stages of every city are all but wiped out.
Human beings reconstruct buildings. Human beings recycle materials. It is very often difficult to be able to coax out of that mass of material, that's sort of the base of that civilization, what constitutes the original civilization.
Archaeologists in Egypt and the Old World are constantly searching for a pristine site, one that marks the beginning of civilization. But the missing clue to civilization's origins, the holy grail for so many archaeologists, may lie on the opposite side of the planet, in the New World, in Peru. Here, straddling the spine of the Andes Mountains, a rich variety of cultures and city-states flourished for thousands of years. The Inca were the last of the great native civilizations.
Okay, now there's something I want to tell you. Like, they show you Mongoloids, but the Mongoloids came after. During the quarreling, they were promoted over you, while your kingdoms were toppled. They replaced you, just like today. How they're being shifted in your communities, and they're taking your businesses, they're taking your homes, and you're being pushed to the side, fending for yourself. Alright? So, you were here, we're a Negro people. And if you don't believe me, you know very well through all my teachings that the oceanic people are of a Negro people. And then later, during time, they had got attacked and bred in with, and other nations have bred in with them. But many still are Negro, but all were Negro. Okay? So, if you look over here, this saying, there's a DNA study linking indigenous Brazilians to Polynesians. Indigenous people that lived in southeastern Brazil in the late 1800s shared some genetic sequences with Polynesians. An analysis of their remains show the finding offers some support, the possibility that Pacific Islanders traded with South America thousands of years ago. But because this is against the Mongoloid that they think of when they think of South America, they say, well, maybe they just traded with the Mongoloids, not understanding that majority were Negro in South America, and that's where you get all your slaves from. But researchers said that the distinctive DNA sequences or haplogroups may have entered the genomes of the native Brazilians through the slave trade during the 19th century. Look now, they're trying to play it off on the slave trade. Yeah, that's how bad it is. They just want to rationalize it to fit their point of view, but with all this information, you can no longer rationalize it. It is coming out, and you can lie all you want, but the evidence is there in black and white, literally. Most scientists agree that humans arrived in Americas between 15,000 to 20,000 years ago, but probably via the Bering Land Bridge linking northeastern Asia with the now Alaska. But the precise, so now they're saying about the Moses and all the migrations, they're validating it. Yet when we talk about it, it's invalid. But the precise timing and the number of the migration waves, so they're saying that there was multiple migrations. So what if there was many migrations through the land bridge? How are you to tell me that Moses didn't come here if the Bible states the same names that are in America and along the way? If this thing is in black and white, and everything they do is to hide it from you and sway you from those areas and tell you other things, then who am I gonna believe? Their ancestors who wrote about us, who felt bad about us, our ancestors, the ancient stones, the artifacts, or believe these fucking idiots trying to confuse and manipulate us today with their propaganda and their education system. Come on now. Give it the program. You're all programmed. Alright. And stands out having skull shaped that were intermediate between those of Paleo-Americans and presumed ancestral populations in Eastern Asia. So he's saying that Negroes in Eastern Asia and Americans share the same skull. Now you're gonna say, well, you know, maybe they just went there. There was no Negroes. See, what happened was they took your ass from South America and took you all over the world. And then the reason why there's so many in America is because they brought some of y'all back to America, and they, instead of enslaving all those Negroes in America and taking them elsewhere, they just enslaved them and let them work in different cities. They would swap cities. I'll take you to this city because you're not used to this city, and then I'm gonna propagate and tell your kids that you from Africa. That's how they did it. Y'all crazy. And you think I'm lying? Alright, let me show you something else then. You think I'm lying? Polynesians' DNA found in old Native American bones. Come on. They just keep coming out with it. DNA has unexpectedly been discovered in the bones of a now extinct Native Americans who once lived in the interior of Brazil. Now this one is saying that they was Native Americans and they lived in the interior of Brazil. These surprise findings are raising a variety of suggested answers to how this occurred, including the travels of ancient seafarers or the more recent slave trade. See that? There it is. Boom. Slave trade. There it is. Boom. Right in your face to program you. Now you're like, see? Now if you show somebody this, all of this drop in this thing, it would not matter. They're gonna go straight back to, oh, they said it's from the slave trade. See how they can blame everything off of this fake ass slave trade? Yet the real slave trade happened hundreds of years prior to their fake ass slave trade. But you don't understand history, so you're 500 years behind, buddy. Come on, get with the program. Programmed. Molecular genesis. Sergio Pena at the Federal University of Minas Gerais in Brazil and his colleagues analyzed DNA from the Botucuro who dwelt in what is now southeastern Brazil. They lived a nomadic, hunter-gatherer. You know that Brazil is a Hebrew word for iron? Iron, which Brazil has much of. It's a Hebrew word. Brasilia. Brasilia is iron. Hebrew. Get with the program. Programmed. And were virtually entirely wiped out by the end of the 19th century during a war Portugal declared on all Native American tribes that did not accept European laws. So when they told you cannot follow the Creator anymore, you cannot follow the Most High, you have to follow Jesus, you said fuck that, and they killed your ass. And then they, instead of killing all of you, they enslaved half of you. And they said, well, we just killed them all. We just killed all of them. Yet they took half of you, and now you go by African American, Afro Mexican, Afro Puerto Rican, Afro Hawaiian, Afro Samoan, Afro Tongan, Afro every fucking thing in the book, but what you came from, your Hebrew and Shemitic background. That's your heritage. Ashana, the land of Shem. Y'all crazy though. I mean, shit, man. Y'all crazy.
They swept from the highlands to the coast, conquering everything from what is today central Chile to Ecuador.